buy a park from us. Thank you. You have a good day.
Got it.
Okay, cool. So now I'm going to call back and see if we can change that. Hi, is this Don? Hey, Don. This is Spencer with X Acquisitions. I was touching base regarding your mobile home park here on. Yeah, I was again. My group and I, we own a handful of parks, primarily in Florida, but we have a handful in the Carolinas, and we're just actively looking to buy another park this year in North Carolina. And so I came across yours. Was curious if you might be open to an offer at this time, or kind of what your thoughts were. Gotcha. I understand. We're in the same boat. You know, we're always actively looking to grow the portfolio. So. Right now we don't in our portfolio. That said, you know, things change every day. Obviously, when we get a thorn in our butt with one of these parks, we might. Okay, so there's no interest. Okay, gotcha. So I guess Donald, would you be open to potentially selling all 7 of your parks? That's why we're actively looking to buy. You know, is because we love the asset class. So do you manage these parks yourself, or do you have someone that does that for you? Yeah, see, that's the biggest headache for us is management. Now, we have a staff as well, so that makes things a little bit easier. But sometimes, usually when people, like you mentioned, you're making so much cash on the parks, it doesn't make sense to sell. But, you know, sometimes when those headaches come into play, it sometimes people just, you know, again, might be open to it. So, okay. No, that sounds good, Donald. Well, again, I wanted to touch base, see if you're interested. Sounds like you're not. Wouldn't even look at an offer. So... but in case I do come across something that you might be open to, or let's say we do want to sell, is there a good email, or is there a good way to get in touch? Or I get it. No, that sounds good. So I guess you know, Donald, you mentioned you're 76. What are your plans with the parks? You know, are you looking to retire someday, or I guess what are your thoughts with the parks at that point? Gotcha. The succession plan. I get it for sure. That's what, you know, you never know. Sometimes people have that in place. Sometimes people don't. So I guess if I was going to say if there were a number that would make sense to sell, if you didn't have that plan in place, then we'd be open to hearing what that number would be for you. But again, it sounds like you have that plan. So, okay. Well, good. Well, if I do come across something, you know, I'll shoot it your way, see if there's interest, you know, and vice versa. We'll just keep in touch. And if anything changes on either of our ends, we'll just go from there. I know, right? And that's why we're trying to get as many as we can here, you know, and actively grow that portfolio. And now I'm curious, you know, you own 7 parks, so you're obviously pretty seasoned. Do you keep yours tenant owned, or do you like to keep the mobile homes for yourself and rent out the mobile homes itself? Oh wow, good for you. That's a pretty good sized portfolio. That's about 30 or so space per park. That's awesome. But yeah, absolutely. Oh, okay, gotcha. So you wouldn't. I'm just throwing. So between 250 and 260. I'm talking off the top of my head. So you wouldn't take $10 million for your portfolio right now. I understand. I'm just curious what that number would be for you, because we might pay it. You know, we're sometimes for us. Cash doesn't, you know, if we need to deploy capital quickly, we have certain targets we have to hit with investors, and you know, thankfully we have investors that trust in us to invest their capital. But you know, as of late, we haven't been able to find anything to invest their capital in. You know, and for them, they love the cash flow, the passive cash flow, as well as they still get their depreciation, right? Their K1s to offset the income. So, you know, Donald, again, at the end of the day, if there was a number that made sense and let's say you wanted to invest back with us, you know, you could do that.